Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show. Happy Friday, TGIF. Been a long, crazy week. Going to be a long, crazy day, but it's all good and I love it. I'm always excited when somebody comes on the show that gives back as much as this person and his organization do. It's a privilege to have Ryan Jones on the show. HonoringTheHeroes.com is the website, Honoring the Heroes, and we're going to talk about giving back to those who protect us every day. Welcome, Ryan. How you doing?
Doing good, sir. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you. Before we went live, we talked about the things that we were going to talk about, and I just love the fact that you're a giving back kind of guy. I think that's such a great thing. So thank you for what you're doing. People love an origin story, Ryan. So they want to kind of know a little bit about you, your background, and everybody always loves to know the journey, how you ended up here on the show talking about this organization. So give us a little 411.
Absolutely. So a little bit about myself. I was born in Illinois and raised in Chicago and left as soon as I could and joined the United States Army. So I was over the snow.
For your service.
Thank you. So it was over the snow and over the cold weather. So joined the Army and got sent all over. Some places cold, some places warm. Long story short, was retiring after 20 years here in 2020. And as I started to retire and go through the process, I started seeing all the programs that were out there for veterans, which I'm very, very thankful for all the programs, and all of them have a certain need and a certain clientele, but there's a lot out there. And I had just a random kind of conversation with my co-founder, and I go, man, there's a ton of veteran programs out there. And he's like, I wish there was half as many for law enforcement. And I kind of said, well, they're the same cloth. One's domestic, one's international, but we do the same thing. There's got to be that many programs. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, he was right. I was wrong. Started doing some research, and there wasn't any real programs. There's a little thing going on in Idaho, and there's a little thing going on in Florida, and there's little pockets here and there, but there's nothing that's covering these guys. And then you start talking to the guys, and they're like, hey, there's a huge stigma here. If we ask for help, if we talk to the boss, we get taken off the road, we get put on a desk, and nobody joins the police force to be on a desk. Like, that just doesn't happen. So those guys don't say nothing. They keep their mouth shut. And I just got burdened by that there was nothing out there for them. So I'm like, what can we do? How can we help? And Honoring the Heroes was kind of born off some discussions, talking with police officers, and, what can we do that we honor you, but at the same time, we're kind of giving you resources that you may need later on in life, or even a crisis you're having right now. And so that's how we came up with it.
Why do you think that there were just no resources for them? I mean, I'm aware too, but I know when I discovered that, I found it to be so mind-boggling. You all do so much risk for us. And so I'm always amazed when you have put your lives on the line and we don't have something to help you, whether it's military or first responder, police, fire, nurses. There's so many first people that are on the front lines all the time. So what was the first step? So you obviously have a dream to take care of it. What do you do to begin to implement it? How do you begin to create it so that the resources are building for them?
So it started with a lot of conversations, and we just basically asked law enforcement, first responders, hey, if somebody could give you one thing, what would be something you would use that you would appreciate, that would have value? And they just kept coming back to backpack. We got backpack a lot. But like, a lot of us have to go buy our own backpack, our own laptop computer bag. We're paying out of pocket for that. So if we could get a nice bag, that's something that they would be like, yeah, this is cool. So that's how the backpack started. So we're like, ooh, we can do that. And then we're like, well, we have a backpack, so we shouldn't just give them an empty bag. That's pointless. Let's fill it. So then it was a lot of conversations, a lot of LinkedIn, and a lot of, hey, authors, you say that you love law enforcement, prove it. And actually, a lot of offers took me up on that. And they offered us huge discounts on this. We could not do what we do without our authors. Huge shout out to our authors, Jennifer Tracy, Colonel Grossman, Brian Miller. Those guys are just amazing. Ellen, all they gave us discounts, and because of that, we were able to do what we do.
How did you get people? Was it hard to get people to hop on that wagon? Were some of them surprised, like I was, and you, that there weren't already some of these things? And were they surprised that you took a poll and backpack was number one? I mean, I would imagine as the process went, you're like, gosh, we never thought of that. Why can't we find something to do for them in this arena?
So what I really found was they needed a center focal. They needed somebody to kind of pull everything together. So all these individual entities and authors and websites and people that want to help were kind of free floating. They all kind of wanted to help, but they didn't know how to bring it together. So I ended up being kind of the focal point of, hey, let's bring everything together and in one resource bag, give it out to them at one time. And that made all the difference. And then once we got a few that bought in and they were all in, then we were able to kind of use that and build momentum. So drop a couple names, authors know each other, and they're like, oh, so-and-so's doing it. Well, I want to do it. And so that helped a lot too.
So explain to them what the author part is, because you've said that a few times. So the people who didn't look at the website, didn't understand.
Absolutely. So I found that doing this through a webcast doesn't work to bring a bag. So I'm bringing a picture instead. So basically we author a bunch of different books and a bunch of resources for mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So we've got a lot of different books from a lot of different facets to kind of help these guys in a lot of different ways. So these are actual physical books. And then the next question is, well, not everybody reads. I understand. But my point is I'd rather them have this on a shelf and never need it, but it's there. And then if they do need it, it's there for them. They can pull it off. I'd much rather them reach for one of these resources than for their service result for Auburn. Because the two main groups of suicides in our country are veterans and first responders.
It's heartbreaking, really. It's heartbreaking. And it's so amazing to bring them. I love the resource part. So the author part, you're really giving them real tangible tools that they can focus on and figure out whatever part of their life it might speak to. And actually, it's a positive thing for them, because it is very frustrating, I know, for them to just have, other than Google, what are you going to do? And so how awesome for them to have that all in one backpack resource. How do you fund this? So you have a lot of people who donate, but obviously the organization can't run just on that. So talk a little bit about some of the efforts for you to raise money and get other sponsors involved.
Yeah, so absolutely. That's the key. For us, we are donation based. So we get most of our funding strictly through donations. We are under a 501c3, so it can be tax deductible as well. And then we get people that want to sponsor, that want to donate items to the bags. And then we also just get people that want to buy a bag. So they want to buy a bag for somebody they know or just for their local community. Those are the three main things. But donations are kind of the key. We couldn't do this without generous support of people that donate to us.
So what can somebody do? Do you need volunteers as well? We had that question before we went live. Somebody said, do they need volunteers? Do they need help? What way could they help? Because 2020 impacted a lot of people, as you know, and so people still want to give back, but they might not have the checkbook.
Yeah. Actually, right now we have one volunteer that stuffs all of our bags. She is absolutely amazing. We could not do this without her. So she takes the backpack, she puts them all together. But what we always need, and is always a big concern for us, is finding where events are. So if somebody's like, hey, there's a law enforcement event here, give me the information. If it's somewhere in Florida, I'll drive to it. If it's not, then we'll see if we can get, just a billboard or something, just for people know about us and get us the word out there.
And that's what we want to do. And that's sort of what the show does. So we also had a question. So the heroes are, for what you're doing, are you focused solely on police, or is it all first responders?
So I'm super excited that this week we finally have a firefighter bag. So we have a tan bag and we have resources that are just for firefighters. So now we can say law enforcement and firefighters, And then hopefully we can do EMT. Hopefully we can just keep spiraling this and help everybody.
I love that, because I think you're building it specifically for all their needs are different, slightly different, maybe big time different. And so that's very cool. Now I understand. I think people were like, well, can't we just have the bags for everyone? But they're very focused on that group. As I imagine the firefighter group bags are different, somewhat different.
Absolutely. And it goes kind of back to that military thing. Yeah, every branch of the military is on the same page. We're all brothers in arms, but I'm not going to read something that was designed for Marines. I was an Army vet. And an Air Force guy is not going to read something that was designed for an Army guy. It's just how we roll. And so the firefighters and police, they work together. They're the same thing, but they're not going to read each other's material.
What's your ultimate goal? Do you want to expand it to, obviously, backpack? You polled them, by the way, which I think was brilliant, actually asking them what they needed instead of telling them what you thought they needed. Super smart. It's amazing how many people who have a good heart want to do something, but they do it with their mindset. They don't even ask the people who are on the receiving end of it. Kudos to you. But what's the ultimate goal? Do you want to go beyond backpacks? What's the ultimate goal for the organization?
So we're evolving. This is still our, I guess just technically our second year. So we're still figuring out what's going on. My goal is to get a backpack in every law enforcement, firefighter, and first responder's hands. Once that goal is met, which will probably never be met because there are always more coming, then we can transition into other things. But I just want to get them resources. So the number that's on the website, the number that's on the business card, it's my personal cell phone. So I just want to make sure these guys are getting any kind of assistance they need, and just want to tell them thank you. Let them know that they're loved and we appreciate them. There are some facets of our community that want to down the law enforcement guys and want to kind of go against the flow, and as I say, and I want to let them know that's not everybody. We care about them. Right. So if I could tell every first responder that we love them and we care about them, then that's my ultimate goal.
That's a fantastic ultimate goal, because everyone that I've ever spoken to, I'm sure there's an exception somewhere, has said it's so nice when the love does come, when they actually feel it. But there's a lot of space in between the feeling of that love for a lot of them. So that positive reinforcement, letting them know we care and are so grateful for everything that they do. That's a wonderful ultimate goal, Ryan. All right, best way to reach you?
It's actually the website. So www.honoringtheheroes.com. I'm on LinkedIn at ryan.l.jones26 on LinkedIn. That's also my Gmail number, all that. So you can reach me on any of those platforms.
Fantastic. Thank you again for all you do. And thank you for putting this together. I just think it's amazing when we can give resources and make it easier. Isn't that what we want to do? You all do so much for us. We want to make it easier for you to get the resources that you need and want. And again, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Ryan Jones. And it's honoringtheheroes.com. It's scrolling across the bottom. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Get involved, guys. Reach out to Ryan. Reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with him. Let's give back.
Thank you, sir.
Backpack. All right. Have a good one. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.